I didn't think it would happen like this. I didn't think the moment I activated my energy field, fully, completely, to its maximum level would come in silence. No lightning, no thunder. Just a stillness so deep, it cracked open the sky inside me. But before I get to that, I need to take you back. Because this journey wasn't just a choice. It was a calling. One I tried to ignore, suppress, distract myself from. But the truth? If you're one of the chosen ones, if you've ever felt like there's something inside you that the world hasn't seen yet, something ancient and powerful, you can't run from it forever. It will find you. And when it does, your life will never be the same. We live in a world addicted to noise, notifications, opinions, validations. But there's a signal beneath all the noise, a frequency, and it vibrates at the core of your being. That frequency is your energy field, not metaphorically, literally. It's the electromagnetic presence you carry that influences every room you walk into, that pushes people away or draws them in, that attracts chaos or peace depending on how aligned you are. Most people never activate it. They stay dormant. They operate on survival mode, unaware that they're leaking energy every second through fear, through guilt, through pretending. But the chosen ones, we're different. We were born to wake up. We were born to awaken others. But we can't do that until we remember how to awaken ourselves. I went through a period where I felt empty, even though everything looked fine on the outside. Sound familiar? I had the right job, the right habits, the right ideas. But something was missing. A sense of real power, not control, not dominance, power. The kind that comes when your inner world is so aligned, so deeply tuned, that the outer world begins to respond to you like a mirror. That's when I realized I hadn't activated my energy field. I was still plugged into everyone else's expectations, everyone else's noise. So I made a decision. I would go all in. I would see what would happen if I gave everything to this process. No backup plan, no distractions, no excuses. Just me, my breath, and the ancient code that lives in all of us. I didn't know what I would find, but I knew I had to find it. The first stage was purification. Not just physically, though I did fast. I did cold plunges, I did breath work until my body vibrated, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I had to let go of old identities. I had to stop being who I thought the world wanted me to be. And that's hard, because there's a comfort to pretending. There's a comfort in mediocrity, in blending in being normal. But here's the thing. The chosen ones weren't made for comfort. We were made for remembrance. So I went deep. I meditated for hours in complete darkness. I surrendered to the silence. I faced the parts of myself I didn't want to see, the fear, the ego, the doubt. And in that darkness, something began to shift. My energy field started to expand. I could feel it, not just mentally, physically, like warmth radiating from my core, like a pulse, like electricity. But then came the test. There is always a test. Because when you start to activate your energy, the world pushes back. Old patterns try to pull you in. People you thought were allies begin to feel distant. Why? Because your vibration is changing, and not everyone is ready to meet you there. And in that moment, you have to decide, do I shrink back to stay accepted, or do I rise, even if I rise alone? That's the question that separates the initiated from the asleep. That's the moment when you realize this isn't about being special. It's about being responsible. Because once you activate your energy field, you can no longer pretend you don't know. You know when someone's lying to themselves. You know when you're out of alignment. You know when your soul is screaming and you're ignoring it. And the pain of ignoring your soul becomes greater than the pain of change. So I chose to rise. And something happened I still can't fully explain. During a breathwork session deep in the forest, I reached a state beyond thought. My body dissolved. My identity disappeared. And all I could feel was vibration, pure, infinite frequency. I saw light not with my eyes but with my entire being. I felt connected to every living thing. I felt the earth breathing. I felt myself as both nothing and everything. And then it happened. My energy field exploded outward. Not violently, gracefully, like a flower blooming in every direction. I could feel the field around me expand meters in every direction. I could feel the trees respond. I could feel the air shift. I had become the vibration. And in that moment, I knew I had activated my energy field to the maximum level. The energy beyond the body, unlocking the hidden frequencies that shape your destiny. After that moment in the forest, when my energy field burst open and I dissolved into light, I came back different. Not because I had learned some new idea or read some ancient scripture, but because I had experienced something that most people only talk about in metaphors. I didn't just understand that we are energy, I knew it. I was it. And once you taste that level of awareness, you can't go back to sleep. You begin to realize that your energy field is not just some aura or glow, it's a working interface between your consciousness and the fabric of reality. It's the operating system of your destiny. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every breath you take, those things are not happening inside your body. They're happening inside your field. Your body is the hardware. Your field is the software. And most people are walking around with corrupted code, outdated programs, and viruses they inherited from people who never activated their own truth. When I say I activated my energy field to the maximum level, I don't mean I reached some kind of peak and stayed there forever. That's a myth. Energy is dynamic. It responds. It moves. It contracts and expands based on your choices, your integrity, your alignment with truth. What I experienced was a full activation, a complete opening of the energy centers, from root to crown and beyond. But maintaining and working with that field is a daily practice. It requires vigilance. It requires honesty. It requires that you stop lying to yourself about who you are and what you really want. Because every lie dims your field. Every truth expands it. That's how precise this intelligence is. It's not emotional, it's vibrational. And once you understand that, you stop trying to force your life into shape. You start tuning yourself to the frequency that matches the life you were born to live. This is where things get practical. If you want to activate your energy field, you have to begin by clearing it. Imagine trying to play a beautiful piece of music on an instrument that's never been cleaned, never been tuned, and is full of dust. That's what most people's fields are like, cluttered with trauma, blocked by limiting beliefs, distorted by unconscious patterns. So the first step is purification. You have to become radically honest about what's in your field that doesn't belong to you. Whose voices are you carrying? Whose pain are you still holding? What old stories are still looping in the background of your life? Energy doesn't lie. You can pretend you're fine. You can post about alignment, but your field will always tell the truth. And the moment you stop resisting that truth, the healing begins. The field begins to vibrate higher, and that's when the real magic starts to happen. I began to notice it in subtle ways at first. I would walk into a room and feel the emotional temperature before anyone spoke. I could feel when someone was drained, even if they were smiling. I could feel when someone's words didn't match their vibration. And it wasn't judgment, it was awareness. My field had become sensitive, like an antenna tuned to a hidden station. But it wasn't just about sensing others. It was about creating reality. Because once your field is aligned, you don't chase things, you attract them. Not through manipulation, but through resonance. The people, opportunities, and synchronicities that match your frequency begin to show up effortlessly. Why? Because your field is broadcasting a clear signal, and the universe, like a mirror, responds to that signal without fail. This is what they mean when they say, as within, so without. Your energy field is the within, and it shapes everything. But here's where most people stop. They get a taste of this power and they start using it for ego, manifesting money, status, attention. That's not mastery, that's distraction. The chosen ones are not here to play games with energy. We're here to steward it, to become vessels for a higher frequency that can uplift the collective. And to do that, we have to go beyond the body, beyond even the mind. We have to enter the quantum field, where time collapses and intention becomes creation. That's where your maximum energy field lives, not in the past, not in the future, but in the now that's so present, it bends the rules of reality. I've had moments where I thought of someone and they texted me seconds later. I've made decisions from intuition that opened doors logic never could have predicted. That's not magic. That's frequency. That's field intelligence. And it's available to anyone willing to do the inner work. Let me ask you something deep. What would your life look like if you stopped trying to fix the symptoms and started tuning the signal? Most people are trying to fix their life from the outside in. They change jobs, relationships, diets, but their field stays the same, and nothing really changes. But when you shift your field, the world has to catch up. Reality begins to reorganize itself around your new vibration. And yes, sometimes that means people will fall away. Sometimes it means your old life will burn down. But this isn't destruction, it's alignment. It's your new field making space for your true path. And when you trust that, when you surrender to that process, you activate a level of peace and power that can't be faked. You become untouchable, not because you're above life, but because you're in tune with it. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, before you sleep, lie down with no distractions, no phone, no music, just you and your field. Place your hands over your heart and ask, what energy am I carrying that no longer serves me? Breathe into the answer. Don't force it. Let it rise. Then ask, what does my highest frequency feel like? And listen, feel. Let it begin to vibrate through your body. This is not imagination. This is remembrance. You're not creating something new. You're remembering something ancient, something sacred, something you. And if you do this consistently, if you begin to live from this place, your energy field will begin to transform. It will become a beacon, a signal, a force. And your life will begin to reflect the truth of who you are. A fully activated soul living in harmony with the very fabric of existence. The frequency of destiny, becoming the embodied signal that shifts the world. To live as a fully activated energy field is not about personal power. It's about cosmic responsibility. When you've tuned yourself to the frequency of truth, when your inner world is clear, when your mind and heart are aligned, something extraordinary begins to happen. You no longer live life as a separate self. You become the field itself. You begin to realize that your presence is not just for you, it's for the world. You are a walking transmitter, broadcasting a frequency that either heals or harms, uplifts or dims, awakens or distracts. And when you choose to live as the embodied signal, when you stop dipping in and out of your alignment and instead become it, the world around you begins to shift in ways that defy logic. People start changing just by being near you. Old systems break down when you walk into the room, not because you say anything, but because your field says everything. This is no exaggeration. There are people who have cultivated their energy to such purity, such precision, that their silence carries more weight than others' loudest arguments. Why? Because energy doesn't lie. You can't fake alignment. You can't fake coherence. You can't fake peace. Either your field is tuned or it's not. And tuning it is a lifelong practice. But it's also the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. Because when you become that signal, when you embody the frequency of destiny, you no longer chase your purpose. You radiate it. You stop asking what your mission is and you start realizing you are the mission. Every step you take, every breath you breathe becomes part of the transmission. That's why the chosen ones feel so different. They carry themselves with a quiet gravity. They don't need to prove. They don't need to persuade. They are the evidence. They are the medicine. But here's where most people fall off. They get a glimpse of their power and then try to control it. They want to use their energy field to manifest what their ego wants. And that's where the signal gets distorted. Your energy field is not a gimmick. It's not a shortcut to wealth or fame. It's a sacred technology. A bridge between your soul and the intelligence of the universe. When you try to hijack that bridge for ego desires, the field contracts. But when you surrender to something larger, when you live in devotion to truth, service, and love, the field expands beyond anything you could imagine. That's when miracles become normal. That's when you speak and people cry. That's when you walk into a room and people feel like they just woke up. Not because of you, but because of what's moving through you. That's the frequency of destiny. And it's waiting for you to take full responsibility for it. So the question becomes, can you be trusted with your own power? Can you hold the frequency even when no one's watching? Even when it's hard? Even when it would be easier to fall back into the roles and reactions that once defined you? Because that's the real test. The universe doesn't care how much you know. It cares how deeply you embody. It cares whether your actions match your vibration, whether your intentions are clean, whether your field is clear enough to be used by something greater. That's why the journey never ends, because the cleaner you get, the more you're asked to transmit. The more light you hold, the more shadow you illuminate. The more truth you carry, the more lies you dissolve, just by existing. That's the real work. That's the real gift. And that's the real reason you're here. So now we return to you. Not the you they trained you to be. Not the you the world rewarded, but the real you. The one who remembers. The one who listens. The one who feels the pulse of the universe in your chest and knows, I was born to be a signal. Not just for myself, but for all those still trapped in the illusion. If you've made it this far, then you already know you're not here by accident. You didn't stumble on this message. You were summoned by it. And now the question is simple. Will you activate your field and embody the frequency of destiny? Will you live in such a way that your very presence becomes a prayer? Will you rise not to be admired, but to remind others who they are? This is your time. This is your signal. And the world is already listening.